Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about auto increment value. So today's topic is auto increment value. The question is, does SQL Server support auto increment value? Yes. Answer for this question is yes. How? See what happened, real time when we deal with the huge data. So we create table and we load that data into table. But sometimes it's a need of a time that we need a number which will basically auto incremented one, and we don't want to increment that number. It should be increment automatically. So in a SQL server we have a special kind of a thing called as identity function. Basically require two things. The first thing is that seed value, and another is in a step value actually. So when I say I want to start my auto increment number from 1 and it should be incremented by 1, then I should use the step value as a 1, right? So this is the special kind of function we need to use in the table design, or also we can use it in the query. But in this demo I am going to show you how to use this kind of identity in a table and how to define it. Okay, perfectly fine. So for example, I am going to create a table. Let's say create table, and the name for the table is hash data, and I'm adding some data in the column. Let's say id in, and value, let's say its data type is money. So this is my table. I'm going to create this table. Just execute it. So this table has been created. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to insert data into the table. Let's say I'm going to write this query. So I don't want to pass auto increment value actually, or let's say I'm going to pass id and then value. These are the two columns which need to be filled. This is a normal syntax, and the first value I'm going to pass is 1, then second value I'm going to pass is 100. Okay, this is fine. Next thing is I'm going to add one more record here. Let's say 2 comma 200. Now in this one, what happened? Moment I execute this query, I'll see 2 rows affected. Okay, let's take a table. Let's run the query. And let's see the data. Now if I see this 2 query, I would find here that I am explicitly adding 1 and 2 to the id 1. But as I said, I want to create a table where I have a column id which is auto increment 1. It should be auto increment. What does that mean? It means that I don't need to pass value. It would get generated automatically. So for example, if I'm writing the query like this, value as just a single column here. Okay, then just pass the value like 100. Let's do that. Oh awesome, we got error. That's fine. Value is a special keyword here, so just use a bracket there, or sometime our syntax is wrong, so just correct it. Insert into and just load data. Okay, 1 row is affected. Now I'm going to see the data. See, there would be 3 rows in this table. The first 2 rows would be along with the values, and the third one which we just loaded is it with the null value. Oh, that's a problem. Problem is that my expectation is the id value should be auto incremented. Let's do one more thing. Let's do one more insert and let's see what happens. When I see data by running the select on that table, I see there 4 rows, but the value is not being incremented. So this is a problem. This is a real problem. The problem is I don't want to insert data for the ID column. I want ID value should be generated automatically. It should be incremented by 1 automatically, right? So if my first value is 1, next value should be 2. If my next value is 2, then third value should be 3. Likewise, subsequent number should be incremented by 1. But it's not happening here. Why it is not happening here? Because we haven't said anything. We haven't added anything that value should be auto incremented. Okay, that's a real problem. So solution for such problem is, I'm going to drop the table first. Drop table, and just drop the table. Let's come back, and here in the definition just say identity. On which column you want to say the identity, right? So I'm saying starting value should be from 1 and it should be incremented by 1, right? This is a simple change which I'm going to do in a table definition. But remember, this is you are understanding for testing. So when you will have the table, please don't drop the table on a production environment. This is for your understanding. Okay. Now let's run the query. I can see no data, right, as an output. Okay, perfectly fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the one insert statement here along with the column. So let's say I want to insert data into value. So I'm checking that column here and just simply say I want to load 100, right? So simply execute the query. Okay, fine. Now come back to the query and run and see the data. I am coming back and running the query and seeing the data. Oh, one has been loaded automatically, but I haven't added anything for the first column. So by default, you don't need to add anything for that column, right? Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's run one more time. Let's say 200. Now the value should be 2, right? Because it's getting updated, it's getting incremented. As we said, the step value should be 1, right? 1 plus 1, 2. Okay, perfectly fine. Let's say 300. I'm going to load a third record. Now let's see what happened. When I execute this query, the one rows get affected, and let's see the data. I am going to see data in a table. Oh my god, 1, 2, 3. These are the value which are auto incremented by default. Now we'll play around this. Let's say I'm specifying column as ID, and let's say I'm just trying to add one more value. Let's say 5, and let's see what happens. Just try to understand. Oh, we got an error. So what's the error? See, getting error always good. Read the error and try to understand. Cannot insert explicit value for the identity column. It's not allowing me to insert the value. Okay, this is the problem. But it's not problem actually. This is good, right? This is what we are expecting. No one should insert value automatically. This is my first requirement, and that's what. Okay, we did it. So if you are executing this again insert, and if you are going back, the every time the values would get inserted automatically, and the auto increment number will automatically get incremented. This is what we did, right? Hope you guys understood the identity with the seed value and the step value with all the demonstration, and I hope you guys don't have any doubt so far, and I hope you guys enjoyed our video. If you guys like our video, please don't forget to share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.